to you about scarcity mindset. That might be a new term to you, but scarcity basically means that you feel like resources of some kind are not very available to you. So having a scarcity mindset would mean that you feel perhaps an anxiety or a fear that you don't have what you need, or you can't get what you need, or there's not enough for you. Scarcity mindset is a very interesting kind of mindset because it can branch off into all different areas of our lives. And I'd like to talk more about that in some future videos. But the way that I wanted to talk about it today was in regards to things. So we have a pretty typical problem here in America that we have too much stuff. And don't get me wrong, like, I'm a things person. I love things. I love pretty things. I love clothes. I love to decorate. So I too have struggled with this, but the last few years I've really worked on simplifying and organizing, and I've made progress from where I was, and that's what counts, and I'm still working on it. But this is an idea that I have continued to think about, and I've had some different conversations with people, and I wanted to share some insights from those conversations. I believe that one of the reasons that people keep so much stuff is because deep down they have a scarcity mindset. And what I mean by that is, I am sure you said this, or you've heard somebody say this. Well, what if we need that? Like, I don't want to get rid of that because we might need to use it. Well, yeah, but you haven't used it for like a year, or you haven't used it for 4 years. Well, yeah, but we might need it, so I'm just going to keep it in case we need it. Now, some people might say this is a frugal mindset, or this is a forward-thinking mindset. But I would say my idea to you is that it's a scarcity mindset. Because there's part of you that thinks you might not be able to get what you need. Or, well, you already spent the money on it. People say that too. Well, I already spent the money on it, so I'm not going to waste the money. Well, is it really a waste of money, or is it a waste of space? Everything's a trade-off in our lives. And so when we choose to keep too much stuff in our homes, we're trading off some peace of mind. We're trading off some energy, and we're giving emotion to those things. Because when we have so much stuff that we're having to keep in order, and we're having to organize, and like, it's so easy for there to be messes constantly when we have too much stuff. That's like such a huge, I think, epidemic in some ways. And I think it's an emotional one. I think that people keep stuff because they're worried about whether or not they're going to have the stuff that they need in the future. And so sometimes we accept things into our lives that we don't actually need because we have a fear that we're going to need it someday. Scarcity. I was talking to a friend about this a while back, and I was remembering when I was first married and when I was a younger mom. And I would accept free stuff all the time. I mean, I was all about it. I loved it. And I would accept things that I didn't necessarily need or like or use. And don't get me wrong, I'm all about free stuff as far as, like, that's great. There's no reason to be so prideful that you can't accept something that somebody gives you to use that's secondhand. I love secondhand stuff. It's great. But I think we need to be careful that we don't just take stuff just because it's available. Because then we're filling up our lives and our homes with things that we don't need. And so we're putting our energy and our emotion into things that we don't need, instead of the things that we really want to be putting our heart and our emotion into. So, I would just invite you to consider, why is it that you keep things in your home, and why is it that you have the things that you do? I was talking to someone else about this, and they said, well, maybe that's just being frugal, to keep things to use down the road, or if you bought things, keeping them so that maybe you'll use them again. Isn't that being frugal? But my thought is, what are you really being frugal with? Sure, maybe you're saving money, but again, it's a trade-off, and you're giving energy to those things, and you're sacrificing other things if you're not sacrificing the money. I think that people have a lot of ideas about money. And I also was thinking about how, sometimes we get so irritated because we have to put money into our car. Oh my gosh, I had to spend $400 on my car. It's so frustrating because we see money as this thing that we have to just bust our backs to get. And then we need to hold on tight to our money because we might not get more money. Somehow we think that like once money is spent, then the money is gone. But maybe the money's just passed on. Maybe we could think of money as a flow. One of my amazing mentors, Kirk Duncan, talks about how money is called currency, and that word relates to currents, like the current of a river. It's meant to flow. And a lot of times I think people have so much fear around money and so much just like anxiety, and there's just a lot of emotion wrapped around the idea of money. And so that's why people get so irritated when they have to put money into their car, because they see it as this thing that they can't get more of. It's this scarcity mindset. Well, I worked so hard for this money and now I have to put it into my car. Well, what if we actually thought of the fact that the very reason you have money is because there's a God who loves you, and that we are stewards over everything that we have. God loves us. And he wants us to be okay. He's going to take care of us. He's promised us that. And sometimes when we have to spend money, or we don't have the money when we feel like we need it right now, sometimes we think that we've been abandoned, but we've never been abandoned. There's not a lack of resources, because our God has all resources. He's the God of the universe. And he sees us, and he knows us, and he's aware of us. So scarcity mindset doesn't come from him. We're stewards over the things that we've been given. So what if we thought, oh my goodness, I'm so grateful that I have $400 to put into my car. I'm so grateful I have a car that is able to take me to work. What if we saw money, earning money, and having our cars fixed and letting go of things that we're not currently using? What if we saw it all as an experience? What if we saw money as something to move us forward to do what we came here to do? What if we saw that those totes of baby clothes that we've been holding on to as something that we can be grateful for? Grateful we had clothes to clothe our baby when we had a baby, but now we don't have a baby, and so it's okay to let go of the clothes. I carried around a lot of totes of baby clothes and a baby crib and a swing and a bumbo and baby and a breast milk pump, all these things, because I wanted another baby. But I got divorced and I don't have a baby right now. And yes, I want another baby, but I don't have a baby right now. And so it's okay for me to let go of those things and let someone else use them. It's okay for me to have gratitude in my heart that I had those things to take care of my sweet baby, and to just live in my now, and to realize that someday I can get more clothes when I need to for my baby. I can get another crib when I have another baby. But right now I don't have a baby, so I don't have a need for those things. And honestly, I really know that it was tying up some of my emotions and my feelings, because I wanted a baby and I didn't have a baby. And so letting go of those things freed up a place in my heart. That's a lot of thoughts in one place, but I feel like when we hold on to too much stuff in our life, the real reason is because there's emotions below it, and they're most of the time not emotions that are serving us well. So I challenge you to decide to let go of some things. Let go of some things that you don't really need, that aren't really serving you in your life, and see how it makes you feel. Because in my experience, it has definitely freed up a part of my heart and helped me feel more peace, to know that I don't need to have a scarcity mindset, and I don't need to hold on to things that don't have a place in my life currently.